Deuteronomy 5. After a very long-winded speech from Moses, it's time to go back to the Ten Commandments. Kind of. Because if you recall, we had two different sets of commandments, which should raise a lot of questions about which 10 rules everyone's gotta obey. Spoiler, no one's gonna ask any questions. Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Horeb. It was not with our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. At that time, I stood between the Lord and you to declare to you the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up the mountain." And he said, wait a minute. You can't say the Lord spoke to these people face to face, and then add, in parentheses no less, how you were the intermediary because everyone was really scared. Because that means the people did not see God face to face. They heard a voice at best. But here's Moses gaslighting them into thinking, you totally saw his face and heard his voice, and not my voice and no face. Okay, what did God say to the people? "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments." So far, so good. I mean, it's all bad because God is saying innocent people should be punished for what their great-grandparents did, and he's still hung up on false idols before ever mentioning no murder. But yeah, this is pretty much what we heard the first time. I still think it's funny that God says you can't have any other gods before him. One, it implies there are other gods. And two, it suggests that we could have a pantheon of gods side by side as long as we don't think other gods are better than this one. Loophole. "You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your ox, your donkey, or any of your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns, so that your male and female servants may rest as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Don't take God's name in vain and keep the Sabbath holy." Got it. I mean, no one follows these rules today, not even devout Christians, but okay, sure. We'll totally follow these rules, God. Thanks for giving the male and female slaves a day off, and never once saying slavery is bad. That's the Christian morality we've all come to expect. Actually, that part about the slaves was not in the first set of commandments we heard. It's a new addition. And maybe it's necessary because the Israelites are about to enter a new land and take control of a whole bunch of slaves. But again, slavery itself is not seen as wrong, even in this update. "Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long, and that it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. These are the commandments the Lord proclaimed in a loud voice to your whole assembly there on the mountain from out of the fire, the cloud, and the deep darkness. And he added nothing more. Then he wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. I still find it wild how "thou shalt not murder" is just sort of glossed over, while the passages about not worshiping false idols and resting on the Sabbath got entire passages. You would think God would want to highlight the murder rule. But no, just squished into the terms and conditions list like it wasn't the biggest thing we needed to know. But this seems like the same rules as before, right? No, wrong. This is the set of commandments we saw in Exodus 20. It's the set of rules we typically associate with the 10 Commandments. However, in Exodus 34, we got a very different set of commandments, which we were told were the real commandments. They included things like do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. And then God literally told Moses to write down these new rules. That's when they were officially called the 10 Commandments. And yet, here we are again, with God going over the rules for a third time, and he's basically negating Exodus 34 and telling us to go back to the rules from Exodus 20 because that was the real list. Who screwed up the continuity here? Was it Moses? God? The scribes copying the Bible? Or the people who tell us to take this book seriously and literally? When you heard the voice out of the darkness, while the mountain was ablaze with fire, all the leaders of your tribes and your elders came to me, and you said, "The Lord our God has shown us his glory and his majesty, and we have heard his voice from the fire. Today, we have seen that a person can live even if God speaks with them. But now, why should we die? This great fire will consume us, and we will die if we hear the voice of the Lord our God any longer. For what mortal has ever heard the voice of the living God speaking out of fire as we have and survived? Go near and listen to all that the Lord our God says. Then tell us whatever the Lord our God tells you. We will listen and obey." Right, everyone took God very seriously. Or at least Moses is claiming everyone listened to God so that these people will think that's what they have to do. "The Lord heard you when you spoke to me. And the Lord said to me, I have heard what this people said to you. Everything they said was good. Oh, that their hearts would be inclined to fear me and keep all my commands always, so that it might go well with them and their children forever. Go, tell them to return to their tents. But you stay here with me, so that I may give you all the commands, decrees, and laws you are to teach them to follow in the land I am giving them to possess. So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess." It's a very sneaky way to get the Israelites to follow God's orders. Just say, God already likes you. It's why he hasn't murdered you. And as long as you obey God's rules, you won't be murdered. Oh, what's that? You can't keep the rules straight? Then you're gonna die. So, is everyone ready to listen to God? Alright, good. I thought so. When someone says you have to listen to them or else, there's no real choice involved. This isn't a religion people are choosing to follow. They're required to follow it because their lives and their families' lives depend on it. God's basically a mob boss asking if you understood what he said, and everyone's like, "Yup, got it, no questions." It's not a heartwarming story.